Greetings! Welcome back to Old Ways Rising Fun YouTube channel. And lots of crowing roosters. It is very early spring. It's late March. It's a period in the year here in New York where we're not expecting any major snows. At least not significant long duration on the ground snows. But there's still a few snowflakes in the air. There's still lots of cold weather ahead of us. But there are some things that you can start working with in the garden and even start harvesting in this time of year. What I want to talk about here today, our cat's being weird over there in the corner if I look distracted, is a plant called the Jerusalem artichoke. This is a member of the sunflower family. It is a tuberous rooted sunflower. It is not related to the Mediterranean artichoke where you pull off the little green leaves and dip them in something. Okay? It's a root crop. It is one of the Eastern North American native cultigens. It was bred and developed here. It is adapted to this climate. It is a perennial, and it just might be, if you're planting a garden to save your life, it might be the most important plant to know. Because this plant can do a lot, it can do the same thing in a northern climate that yam and tapioca, true yam and tapioca, do in a tropical climate. It's a plant that you can stick in the ground and completely ignore until you need it, and other than when the ground is frozen solid, it will always be there for you. Okay? So I put in a small patch of these guys last year, and I'm going to do a harvest. We ate a few in the fall, but that the wind turned over and exposed. I'm going to do a little bit of a harvest here, but I'm harvesting to extend my planting. I'm not going to eat these. Okay. This is one of the clumps. This is the plant. You can see they are not small. Okay. These are, again, member of the sunflower family. They are not small plants. But when I pull this root up, see, all of this is old stuff and dead. A couple of little ones there still in the root. But first of all, look at the size. These fence posts are 10 foot on center. That's a 12-foot tall stick. Okay? The seeds are good for Tweety birds. See one of the seed heads? They're like little small sunflower seeds. They're good for Tweety birds. And these little tubers are good for us. That's a real small one. I'm going to pull up a couple other bigger ones here. That one didn't make it. As you can see, they're fairly large. Okay? You can also see this one got et. This got et by a mouse. Okay? By the way, mice are the critters that eat your bulbs, not moles, right? It's the mice. But these are very, very sugary, and the mice will love to go after them. So it's actually better to leave them in the ground than to try and root cellar them. And then it's something that if you were storing food for real sustenance and you run out, it's something that you can come out and get here in the very early spring and just pull them out of the ground. They will keep just fine with no care. This one has some living stubs on it, so I am going to keep that and plant it. It'll give me another plant, even though I wouldn't want to eat that one, right? And I'm going to go along and extend that patch. And planting these is no more difficult than planting some potatoes. We just knock some little holes in the ground, and we stick our tubers in. Hide them from those mice, and those will grow. And these things are durable, right? These will persist as long as they're not overshaded. These will persist for decades or even centuries from one planting. When you harvest them for food, just go and pick them. Right, I'm going to pick everything that I can find here and spread it out to extend my patch. But I will pick everything that I can find, but there will still be a ton that come up right here. You will always miss some. They're self-perpetuating. In fact, in a way, the more you harvest them, the more you end up with in subsequent years. So it's a really good plant to know and to have. You can just stick them at the edge of a property. They will take care of themselves. They need no extra help. This soil is fairly abused from its past history as a farm field, so I will put some manure down on this row. And once we get into the growing season, I'm not going to do that right now. But these are a very good plant to know. In terms of cooking them, a lot of people are scared to cook a new plant, but you can do anything with them that you would do with a potato. Just pretend they're potatoes. They're a little bit sweeter. They have inulin in them, which is that the natural sugar that your body doesn't absorb but tastes sweet. So they're a little bit sweeter than a potato. You can cook them light and they'll keep a little bit of crunch, kind of like a water chestnut. Or you can cook them all the way through, and even the pickiest in your family won't know that it wasn't a potato if you cook it all the way soft. They have a longer cook time than potatoes. You need to kind of treat them like more like a carrot, right? But you know, like how a carrot takes longer to cook to a real soft chew and loses crunchiness. These are kind of like that. They take a little longer to cook. But you can cook them into hash browns. You can bake them, you can mash them, you can stick them in a stew. My wife's laughing, more Tolkien references. You can do anything that you would do with a potato, you can do with these, and you won't know the difference. So I just wanted to introduce you to this plant. It's something that you can get as soon as you can get it, and as soon as you can stick a spade in the ground, get them in. It is impossible to plant these too early. So it's another good thing that you can use here in the early spring to scratch that gardening itch. So I hope that you will consider this in your plantings, and I will see you next time on Old Ways Rising Farm.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I decided not to be done anymore because I wanted to show you just these big clumps that I'm pulling out of the ground here. And look at the size of these masses, right? These are bigger than a potato, okay? It just takes no work, and it's here all the time. And then all these little ones, right, you'll never find, like these little guys there, they'll grow new plants, and next year, those little new plants will be produce tubers this size. So this is what I was saying. You can't pick them out of existence. And it's a great thing to have here for you that you know is always going to be there in springtime. So again, I would encourage you to plant that, and I'm going to sign off again, and I think I mean it this time. So I'll actually see you again on Old Ways Rising Farm.